Hello, friends. Today we're going to do something a little new. I'm pretty excited for this. Phoenix and Ogre are a duo party. I was talking to them in the Discord, and this is the SEA region, Legend 2, with some, variation in matchmaking. But I'm pretty excited about that because we're going to look at both of them. So we'll spend about 10 minutes on the laning of Ogre, then 10 on Phoenix. Or not 10 minutes of real time, but like the first 10 minutes of the game. Who knows how long that'll be. And then from there, we won't focus on either strictly. We'll kind of swap between them and look at the bigger picture of like what the support should do in a game, or we'll try to. I did watch the game already, so I have a couple major ideas on what I want to talk about, and we'll see how this goes. Now, before we get into it, I'm going to mention a couple things I know I'll forget about if I don't say it now. Can you see? Okay, it's a little bugged, but I want to talk about your talents because I think I'll forget about this in the replays when we start, because it's not like obvious when they pop up. Now the first talent and the third talent are fine, but for this game I don't think 500 health is good, because not that it's not like good, but it's less optimal because Lifestealer will steal a larger percent when he attacks you because of his feast. The way it works is max health, and then Necrophos as well. Heartstopper will do damage based on your max health, and then his ult does damage based on your missing health. So against these two heroes, I feel like, a health talent is not as ideal, and especially because the 25 Fire Spirit DPS is a pretty good talent, and so I think that one is a little bit better this game. Now, I know I just said that, but for Ogre, the health talent is okay, in my opinion, because the 80 damage talent is not that good on Ogre, whereas the DPS talent is good for Phoenix. But also, Ogre is kind of meant to be a tank, and he's going to be up front. He has a decent amount of armor to mitigate the damage of Lifestealer a bit. And he's kind of supposed to be in the way and might die if he gets burst down. So the health is good on him, whereas Phoenix is going to sit in the back naturally and kind of pop in, so you don't need the health as much, I feel like, in this game. Now, having said that, I'm not a heavy Phoenix player, and I'm not that much of an Ogre player, honestly, either. But that's just my thoughts on that. And then the other thing I want to point out, Lifestealer, Silver Edge, Shadowblade, Glimmer Cape. You guys didn't buy too much detection. So some of those did come towards the end of the game, but still, you need to have a bit more detection. Now, you did have a lot of sentries, but it's still important to have the dust of appearance as well. And the rest we'll cover in the game, I believe. So let's just get into it. Pretty excited about this. You guys are from the, or at least you're playing in SEA, and that's where I started tryharding Dota when I was there studying abroad. I was there playing like line support by myself with like 4 cores, It's classic SEA Dota. So I think you guys are already off to an advantage since the two of you play support. If the other team is playing like 5 to 4 cores, you should have a natural advantage in especially fast-paced games. And we're going to talk about that a bit later, actually. But first, we'll start with Ogre. So, starting items, I think, are fine. We're guessing that you're against Necrophos. And, well, I would have assumed you were against Tiny. But turns out you're not. You're going to be playing against Coddle, which is unexpected, but I still like your items for that, because if it was Tiny, Tiny does not have a lot of armor, and I want you to just hit him a lot. We've got a bit of pausing at the start, not too worried about it. Actually, I was going too fast for other people to see, but we did see Coddle here. Okay. So we see Coddle here running in, and you check his items, which is really good. I don't know if you noticed on the minimap, but he did walk up further, and so it should be obvious that he got a ward. Now, you do buy a sentry, so I'm pretty sure you did see it. I'm going to point it out for anyone else who may not have seen it, or maybe you guessed and you didn't actually see it, in which case, I do want to highlight that. So here, this is another movement thing. So this part is like, okay, you're running at him. And you see how you're running like straight to him, and then like still running out in this area where he'll always see you. That allows him to just run back and forth and do what he's doing, which is like slowly hit you, which you know, it's not a big deal to Ogre because he is like high armor, high health, high HP regen, and Coddle's low damage. But it could matter on other heroes. And so I want you to get in the good habit of, especially against in the melee versus ranged matchup, what you want to do is to be on top of this guy, because he'll always lose that trade. But if you always run in the open, you're never going to get on top of him, especially if it's a fast hero. He sees you, he's going to turn around. So it's important, instead of running back here, cut down here, out of sight. And for this guy to see you, he has to run through trees, and then you're right on top of him. Or he has to go like way around, which still circumvents your issue and doesn't let him get close to you. But that's like, it's opened up the possibility that he does just run into you. As opposed to playing in the open, he will never run into you unless he's super bad. But at Legend 2, people shouldn't do this. Now you also cast your spell, Ignite. I kind of don't like this. I know I just said this in a video recently where it's like, cast your spells and then Clarity, and you do that this game. But I think Ogre is not strictly a hero that can do that, because if you look at Ignite, you can only cast it twice before you're out of mana. And in general, a rune fight can last long enough where you might have to cast a spell a second time. And so I think it's pretty important to be able to cast your spell twice, you know, like slightly before the rune and you guys start fighting, and then maybe the fight looks in your favor, so you want to chase further and you cast your spell again. But Ogre cannot do that with this Clarity trick idea because your mana pool is so small. So I think on Ogre specifically, I may not cast a spell unless I am already on top of this hero, and then I will hit him. Because the way you cast it from just like far away, it's just kind of like doing damage to the hero. You're not making use of the slow and auto attacking, and that's how you really win the trade. You're just kind of like getting the damage from Ignite, which is not that great because this guy has a Ring of Regen and because your mana pool is so small. And now you do it here. See, you like cut here, and then watch what the Coddle does. Coddle runs. We didn't get to see it. Coddle ran. It was... Here, we'll rewind. He does it. He runs out far like this. And so in this case, you know, you're not going to get to hit him. He didn't like come right here, and then you get to hit him a little bit. But this is the idea, where you hide in vision and make him, like... Keep him honest. Make him run far out like this. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. We're gonna move on. So I like this. Start hitting this guy and casting your spell. And see, this is where it's so really powerful, right? Where you get the slow from Ignite and the slow from your Orb of Venom, and you're getting to hit him like this whole time, as opposed to like just casting it on the Coddle. You know what I mean? And the slow from Spectre's Dagger as well. So you get First Blood, really good. Pick up the Sentry. I would wait a bit. I would also pick up the like Windlace or something. I don't know if you do here. Okay, you do. Cool. I know I said I watched it before, guys, but you know, I'm not gonna remember everything. Now I think it's really important because you can just kill this guy. I know you're like managing your items and stuff, so this is just something to, as you get faster at it, you won't have to like come back here and check it. But I think it's important to be out here right now. Just to bully people out. Ogre likes to do that. You're at full health. Yeah, I know you are claritying right now. So this is why it's like not so good on Ogres, because Ogre wants to be out there hitting people. Whereas like someone like Jakiro, he's not going to do the same thing. But Ogre could be out here and like hit the Necrophos for trying to walk up like once or twice. But yeah, if you want to do the clarity thing, like you can still be a little safe, but like now at this point, it's already time to be up here. So I like this. You see how you finally get on top of him because he's up here and you come around the trees? That's the same idea I was talking about over here, where it's like, just really make use of trees when you're a melee hero versus range. And now you're going to get to beat this guy because you have the slow from both of these. And when we look at his move speed, even though he's a fast hero with Windlace, he's now well below you with these combined slows. And that's when you want to use your spells, is when you're going to be able to get the Orb of Venom plus the spell, and that way you can do both. You get the D ward, so you did notice the start. It's all good. Sort of stopping that pull. Sometimes, so this case he wasn't going to get the pull anyways, but if it ever is, like, he is going to get the pull and you need to stop him and you're a melee hero, you can cast a spell. It can be worth it. In this case, it wasn't going to happen anyways. Coming over to pull. Just barely get this range creep. You need to go a little sooner since these guys slow, but no big deal. It's kind of a minor thing. Knowing to pull there is the major issue. I don't know what Spectre's doing. I agree. Spectre should be up there. I'll say it now. I think you did enough to win this lane, and Spectre, not to like flame people, but like later. In fact, we can pull this up. I personally think you did enough to win this lane, and Spectre was just like missing some last hits that she shouldn't have been. And so like she hits 6 super early, but then her last hits are like really bad. So I wouldn't take that to heart. I do think your overall laning was really pretty solid. We'll pick out a couple things to look at still, of course. Let me make sure I can see my notes. Oh, okay. Sorry. In my notes, I forgot to say. So you come back here early. So this is like 50 seconds right now. I actually think you should be chasing the Necro all the way here. Like you hit this guy, and then you back off. But the way the lane has split, it's gone like this, right? I'm gonna look what Necro does. Necro waits outside here because he can. It's just these creeps hitting him. It's not a big deal to him. Now the lane is in a really good spot for him. Spectre is hitting these creeps, and she's killing them, which means the lane is going to push, and eventually you will need to pull to fix it. But you don't need to pull yet. Now this is the downside, where in this case I kind of get it because you needed to de-ward this to make sure this camp spawns, because you don't know if it's going to be here. It could have been here. Now I actually think if you had clicked the Coddle, you may have known it was up here, because if you click him, you'll see like when it leaves, and you'll know he like ran up kind of far. But still, I kind of get having to come over here and de-block this camp. But in a game where you don't need to do that, what I want you to do is chase this guy so that he can't just wait out here and let the creeps meet in a favorable position. Chase him, hit him, and make him have to run straight under tower and let the creeps run under tower too. Or make him have to stay out here and tank damage from you until these creeps get here, and then go back. Because he's just going to farm these for free, right? He's not really pressured here. This creep dies and none of you get an experience. Maybe you get some denies. Maybe you just pressure him a little bit. A higher level carry wouldn't have let the creep split like that, to be fair. But I'm talking like a really higher level carry to like Divine Plus, probably. I don't think most people know to do that, to not let that happen. Okay, we'll speed up a bit because we saw this already. I think this pull's okay. See, this is the time where like Spectre should be farming decently, but actually he's not. I don't think that's your fault. I think that's just like something Spectre should be able to do. Now you block this camp. I don't know if you strictly needed to, but I don't hate the idea either. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that, where I don't fully think you need to do this, because I think you can play up here very safely as Ogre. This guy will never kill you, and even with Necro, it's a very difficult kill. You're such a tanky hero. They have no way to cancel TPs. If it ever looks really bad, you could just TP out. So I think you could just constantly play in this area, and if you're playing in this area, how will Coddle ever get a pull off? He won't. And that's why I feel like you don't need to ward this. Just by playing in this area, you prevent him from pulling. At the same time, I don't hate the idea if you planned on, say, leaving the lane early or something. Then I think it's okay. I don't remember how long this pause is. Oh, there we go. Now this, I think, is good, using your slows and attacking. You always want to combine it. Because your spells are so expensive relative to your mana pool, you want to make sure to do both. Or you want to make sure you're very efficient with them. I don't like this ward. Hold on. There we go. It does not see a lot. But more than that, it doesn't matter that you're hiding it, because this is a very common spot to de-ward. The spot to place your sentry is like either right here to get the hill and this general area, or to put it more like, you know, to put the sentry like right where your ward is actually to get this whole general area, like over here, or put it more over here to get this area too. The point is, all of these common sentry spots will deward this. Now, that doesn't make it a bad ward spot necessarily. Like, if you know they typically deward this area, like, the reason they do that is because it's actually a good spot to ward. And so giving yourself reduced vision, but they're still... It's like the same chance they're going to get... What's a better way to say this? Let's put it at, like, a comparison of percentages, where it's like 60% chance they deward this, and 60% chance they deward a ward here. And so it's like, well, they have the same odds of dewarding them. That number's totally arbitrary, by the way. I'm just using it for this example. Like, it's the same chance to be dewarded, so we might as well pick the spot that is better, which would be out here instead of over here. This does not let you see when he's pulling, and I know you like attempted to block it, but there are still creeps here, two in fact, two camps, and so you want to be able to see him pulling, and you just can't with the way it's positioned. You don't see anyone like rotating into gank. This way, you might catch a very brief glimpse of them going here, but you don't see them until they're like right here. So overall, I just think this ward needs to be further out. It needs to be here, 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 here. Any of these like better vision spots. I don't think... Like, the point of a ward in this area at this time is to either spot them trying to pull or to spot someone running in to kill you. And I think that risk of your life is worth using a ward that might get dewarded. Yeah. Yep. I think this is good. Stunning to get up close, then slowing him. Spectre comes in. I think you guys kill him? I don't know what he was doing there, like running back in. It looks like he survives. Now this pull attempt here, literally a second too soon. So you hit at 416, needs to be just slightly sooner at like 417 to 18. And then you need to stop like right here, right where your hero is. So you do this 1 second later, so it would be 22 seconds, and the creeps would be like right here. And you stand here, let the creeps come in and hit you. That will aggro the creeps right here, and then they will run down. But you are a second too soon, and then you run through, so the creeps just lose aggro. And you are able to get the range creep, just barely. That happens because there was two camps here. And because of that, they body blocked themselves, and you were able to draw the range creep. Whereas if it had just been one camp, I think it wouldn't have grabbed the range creep. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. 417 for this pull time, and then stand right there where I showed you. Let's see, what else? Right around now, you want to make sure you're going to get the rune. You have a... Straight up not going to die. As Ogre versus Coddle, you're just not going to. You know, it's not like you're Crystal Maiden versus a Clockwork or something. Or you're not low or anything. You're full health, you're tanky, you're fast. Now that you have all this move speed, you should get this rune. At the least, you should contest it. Make him use a spell to, you know, push you away or something. And you, in turn, should absolutely try to use a spell to guarantee it. Or you could straight up ignore him. You see him trying to be cute here, then ignore him and run for this rune. Make him choose. If he wants to then follow you, then fight him a little bit. And then he's like, oh, what do? I can't win a fight against an ogre. I need to keep my distance. And if he keeps his distance, you're for sure going to get this rune. But instead, Coddle gets both these runes. And I don't think we want that to happen. Especially with a Spectre. We're just trying to get her as much gold as we can. I don't mind that you have this queued up early, because it almost always goes to the hard support, but sometimes we don't need it. And so I do want that to be something we think about. I'd be a little careful about warding up here, because I think he just dewarded that. And usually it's like an iffy idea to put a ward where an enemy's ward was, and you just dewarded it. Because essentially they know, like, oh, they have a sentry here. I should put a sentry there. Like, people will do it, even if they think it's just a sentry there. They will deward your sentry. And by putting a ward here, it's like, oh, I got a ward too. So if you want to give him vision, I would come over here. I would like run outside and put it here. Because he just dewarded this, you know it's very unlikely they had both this spot and this spot warded, which means you can just run down here, and it's very unlikely they will see you. Back to the lane. I like this kill attempt. I don't know if you guys coordinated this or whatever, but he was up there, and you wrapped around the back. Very straightforward. Let's see, does this have a... I would get a... I don't know when you called this courier, but I would try to get a sentry with it. Just because like your mana pool is so small, so it's like you do one gank attempt, you use your spells like once or twice, and you're totally out of mana. But that's okay because you just like gank someone, you made pressure, and then as you're walking back to your lane or to wherever you want to go, you pop the clarity. It's gonna heal you up like your entire mana pool pretty much. Also at this point, I'm not sure if you need to keep pulling because I would consider this lane 1 right now, because like she's 6. Let's pull this up. She is 6, and Necro is 4. So she shouldn't really die until Necro hits level 6 when he can ult her, and even then, she needs to be kind of low already before they go in on her, or someone needs to rotate up here. Specifically, Tiny would probably be the one to rotate up. Sniper's not the best at rotating, but sometimes he does. But he's so slow. Like, if he's gone missing, then it's like, okay, it's been a while. He's probably ganking someone, probably ganking top. But really, to me, at this point, you have, like, a minute to 3 minutes until Necrophos hits 6 and threatens this Spectre. And I think now is about the time you could leave this lane, and you no longer need to be up here, like, constantly pulling and stuff. Now, if there was ever a hero you do that for, Spectre is one of them, because you do want to just guarantee her farm. But still, I kind of feel like you could rotate around and try to get something done for this. Like, Sniper's a really easy kill. He's such a slow hero, you know? So if you have mana and a smoke, and it's nighttime, and you just run up here and Sniper ever walks down river, you just, like, straight sprint at him, slow him, stun him, and like 2 raises from this guy and you hitting Sniper and he's dead. You know, easy kills mid, or you come rotate bottom, where your off lane is actually also having a pretty rough time and helping them out. Now, see, even though you're winning this lane, she's like not farming that well, and that's why I was saying what I said earlier, where I feel like you played well enough to win this lane, and she was just missing some last hits. I might consider giving this to your Shadow Fiend, by the way. At least offer it. I know that he has this 8 agility item, which is nice, but the potential to dig up runes for a bottle buyer is quite nice. So at least offer it. If he doesn't want it, that's fine. Maybe you did. I don't know. I can't see those chats, right? Items, I think this is okay so far. We're getting to about 10 minutes, and we're going to switch. I think this rotation bottom is good. The only downside is you have to TP here, which means Spectre is a little bit at risk. And so, you know, imagine what if at that 7-minute mark we were talking about, and you just started like running bot. Let's say you had a clarity earlier, so you're able to gank mid along the way. You put him low, so he has to go back, so you made space for mid. Then you keep running bottom. Maybe you have another clarity or a mango or something, and then you're playing bottom. You never had to TP. You're here to protect this. You made space mid on your way down, and then they go top, and you TP up here. You know, I like that possibility a lot more than having to TP down here, and now we can't help Spectre if she needs it. But having said that, like, it was kind of a necessary rotation. They were diving, and they forced you to come down here, so I think that's okay. But I'm just kind of like trying to paint that image of like preemptive play, of identifying like, oh, I can leave the lane now. Maybe we could get some stuff done. I think it's good to at least think about those ideas, because it helps us paint the possibility of like, what else could we be doing right now? And one of the reasons I did like you coming down here is because Spectre hit 6 so quickly. I don't think I actually said that at that time, at the 7-minute mark, but because she has her ultimate, that's a great time to like get stuff done, because she wants to steal it and pop it and steal a kill. And so like if you gank mid, you know, you use 2 spells, this guy uses like 1 or 2 shadow raises, and then Spectre ultin and daggers the Sniper. Like, how is he not dead and then Spectre just got a free kill for that. So like anytime she hits 6, that's a great time to go rotate, get her to use her ult for a kill, and then she just goes back to farming. But either way, this is good. Axe goes a little too far. And now we're at 10 minutes. The last thing I'll say is, this rune is kind of safe because you have so many people here. So I might try to ask the Shadow Fiend, like, hey, do you want to come get this rune? And you stay in this area. Now, it does turn out, we can see on the minimap, they are kind of pushing out. But you do have 4 here as well. So I kind of feel like it could be something you guys fight. Though, because at this point, I can see, because we're spectating, that you guys are 3K behind. You know, if I was in the game, I wouldn't necessarily know that. So knowing that, maybe I wouldn't fight this. I would just pick it up and leave. But usually I would ask the mid laner at least, like, hey, do you want this? And again, maybe you did, and I just can't see it. So at this point, we will now switch to Phoenix's perspective. Go back in time. Back in time a little further. We're going to have to go through some pauses again. I forgot about that. So I don't play enough Phoenix to know like whether your itemization should change. I know, I think I do see a build where people buy consumables a decent amount. I personally don't feel like Phoenix has mana issues, so I don't know if you need a mango necessarily. I kind of like when I see people build straight for like either tranquil boots or a fast earn. But again, I don't play enough Phoenix, so I won't criticize too hard on your item build. I do think this ward is a little
30 seconds to battle.
Unnecessary, maybe. I will also say, if you're gonna ward there, if you're gonna ward here, you need to like run out all the way back. I guess actually I don't know if you can see the tiny. Maybe you can, and maybe that's why you came out. I might have missed that. But if you ever walk out of these trees as a support, they have to know that you warded here, you know. And the same with the other way. If you're the 5 position and you ward here and then you walk out from here, it's like there's no way you were just here for fun. You had to be warding. So it's kind of a tell. And so it's like it's good to like run all the way back and not get spotted. Because if they spot you like anywhere in this area, they know there's a very high chance the ward was here. But I also just feel like I don't know what the spots for you, I guess. To be fair, I would have assumed a Keeper of the Light was down here, but I don't know. I don't think this ward helps you spot Tiny rotating in. Like, say Tiny was actually the position 4, and you see this ward, and so Tiny like TP's back here and runs around. You know, this ward doesn't see that. I think having it back here would be better for you to spot those tiny rotations, to spot the pulls. But Axe is kind of like just going to play the lane. Axe is always going to be like standing here or to here, like somewhere around here. And so he is like, if Axe is here, he's always going to see what this ward sees. And so I just like, you know, it kind of overlaps with what your offlaner is doing. And swap in your branch as soon as you place the ward so that they don't click you and realize that you're missing a spot. That's kind of a minor thing. I would focus your right clicks on Tiny. Lifestealer has innate regen. Well, lifesteal, I guess is a better way to say it. Because that's what it is. Tiny does not have as much, and he has no armor. Lifestealer, 4 armor. So if you had to harass anyone, it's kind of better to harass the Tiny instead of the Lifestealer. Again, a little bit minor. Okay, your friend just got first blood. Good start. So right here, what you should identify is that they have 4 creeps alive, and we have 2. This lane is actually already in our favor. It's going to push towards us. Not quite yet. It's still going to take a little bit, but it will push towards us. And as it pushes towards us, we will be able to hold it around here. And the only way this doesn't happen is if they pull. And if they pull with a hard camp, it's very easy to contest this because it's right here. And you guys just come over here, and Axe will farm the hard camp and the small and the creep wave. Actually, maybe he won't because it's like level 1 or 2. But at the end of the day, them pulling the hard camp when you're right here is not such a big deal for you because it's very close to come get the XP. Pulling the small camp is a much bigger deal because it takes a very long time to come over here, at which point some stuff has already been denied. And, if Axe has to come over here to farm this, he's pretty out of position of the lane. He has to then run all the way back. Whereas here, it's like, boop, boop, he's right there. So, what do you need to do? I do not want him to pull the small camp because that is the only way they can fix the lane from going up here. I go body block this small camp. Body block this small camp, or just be super aware that he is going to try to pull it and you don't want him to pull it. But that's kind of a pain, so why not just body block it? To be fair, I haven't made that position 4 guide yet, so you don't know to do that. Whereas Ogre, he followed a lot of the guide. He pulled at 117. He's like pulling a lot, all that. Really good stuff, by the way. You followed the guide quite well there. And we haven't done the position 4 yet. But one of the most important things for the position 4, sneak peek to the guide, is to quickly identify what is going to happen in the lane, and do I need to go body block this small camp. You'll often see pros pull the second wave, and with that wave, they will block this small camp. And that is because they want this wave to come meet over here, and it has a similar effect to what I described here. But you don't need to do that if the lane is just going to push naturally because of whatever reason, of creep aggroing. So like some creeps died on our side, but not their side. But as soon as you can tell that there are 4 creeps to our 2, you know it's going to push in our favor, especially because they weren't. One was in deny range, but the other was not. So you know the lane is going to push, and therefore the most important thing is to go block the small camp. And like you can see how many creeps they have, right? Like look how many this is. Where's Tiny? He's missing. What can Tiny be doing? He can be pulling. And we're not supposed to see this on the minimap, but we can. Axe can handle this alone, and getting Axe quick levels is very important because he will scale up with counter Helix quite quickly, and then that'll make laning hard for them because there are 2 melee heroes to come up to an Axe. But if Axe becomes under-leveled, then it's an easy lane for a lifestealer. And so letting Axe get this solo XP on the first 2 waves, not really a big deal. Phoenix likes levels, but at the same time, if Axe can solo lane, then you will find time to get your XP by pulling, or when Axe goes to like jungle quickly or whatever. But right now, Tiny is, in fact, let's go look at Tiny. Let's go back in time. So Tiny pulled. This creep just died. No one got XP. Tiny's getting some XP from the small camp. Tried to do a hard pull, only got 1, and which you did finally see. But now, Tiny ran to lane. This guy's alone while you're up here. And in fact, you even had to ditch it, so no one got the last hit on that. I think you were in range for the XP, but the important thing is that 1 creep died here, and none of you got it. That's like them denying 2 in the lane. Which doesn't sound like the biggest deal. It's like 1 creep, and yeah, 1 creep isn't the biggest deal, but it's like if it happens again and again, now we have an issue. And that all starts with them getting the first creep. Same deal. He's got 3 creeps following up, and this range creep going as well. What's going to happen? The lane's going to meet up here. Now, these creeps are weak, so the lane will eventually push for you guys, but for a while, it's going to be up here. What can they do? They can pull. I don't remember if he pulls, but that's what you should be thinking about. Like, hey, this is a decent spot. You guys aren't going to kill Lifestealer. It's just not going to happen. Your heroes can't really kill him. You don't really do much because you're all magic, and this guy just rages it off. Axe could do something with some lucky helixes, but that's not going to happen until Axe hits at least level 3, probably level 5 and more. So we can have Call, which pierces spell immunity, and he has a lot of pure damage from, leveling up counter helix. All of this requires Axe to level up quickly. So especially now that you have level 2, you have Icarus Dive, you're now very safe. You're probably not going to die unless you mess up and let Tiny cancel your dive. I actually think right here. Oh, sorry. So first, this is kind of baiting you into a bad position, but I don't mind it because you're also trying to like block this pull. You get comboed here. I think it's totally okay to dive over here and kill this courier and then just walk away. Because these are two melee heroes and they would have to run all the way towards you, and you're pulling them away from the lane. So Axe is going to solo farm this stuff. They're going to miss last hits. And then even if they were to kill you, they now have to like spend time running back to lane. But they're not going to kill you because he just used his only way to cancel TP. So you could dive all the way here, hit this, run, salve up, whatever. You could probably run all the way back home. And Lifestealer would ditch, return to lane. Tiny alone can't really kill you. And again, you could just TP out if needed. And that would have gotten you a courier kill, which is always nice. Oops. Player perspective. I wish there was a hotkey for it. Even though this looks close, I don't know. I think it's just really difficult for you guys to kill him. We're going to speed through the pauses. Here we go. That wasn't too bad. And we're back to laning. Honestly, that first minute is like the most important thing I wanted to talk about. I really don't have that much to talk about after this, just because I think that was the major component. I think the first 2 minutes is always like extremely important to establish the lane in a good spot. All of this, I know you guys were just going on Tiny or Lifestealer, but as soon as that happens, like, are you really gonna kill him even if you hit these spirits? No. But isn't it weird the creeps didn't show up? Yes. Always be thinking, did they pull? I need to go get that XP. If you had kept that XP and you had those creeps, you know, you could have like stolen some of the last hits or something. I think that was just pulling slightly too soon. Again, look how many creeps they have. So what do we know? The lane is going to push in our favor. I just want to not let them pull. Right now, I should go run to the runes. I don't necessarily have to get this one because this one's kind of scary. If Lifestealer runs up, you're dead. But if Lifestealer doesn't show up, Tiny just used his stuff. Maybe you can get it on your own, especially if you heal up first. Or you see that and you decide, I'm just going to go get this rune. Because, yeah, Axe is back all in time for this. I know you're trying to get some XP, and that's fine to like stand here until like 55 and then run over. But I think, yeah, the enemy team got all 4 bounty runes, which is really good for a lineup that wants to play fast against a lineup that wants to play late. And for you guys, it's really important to get the runes because you want to play late. So you want to get gold to Spectre as quickly as possible. You don't want them to pull ahead. Letting them get 4 bounty runes is kind of an issue. And there's 2 of you playing supports, you know, so only one of you needs to remember and then tell the other, like, hey, we got to get bounty runes. Now, I know I'm only watching one game, so maybe you guys are usually good on it, but I have to pick out what I see, you know? I think this is good because they do a lot of physical damage, or at least Lifestealer does, but Tiny does burst, but you have a decent hero health pool anyways. See all this? I think this can just be Axe. I don't think you need to be here. Same deal. Let's imagine a world where you go to get the bounty runes at 5 minutes. You could potentially gank Sniper. You know, you provide a slow and decent damage, and you dive in too, so from here you like dive in, apply the slow before he can react. Shadow Raise once, twice. This guy, he has a couple Wraith Bands now, so his health pool's a little higher, but it's still not very much. Sniper's a very gankable hero, very easy to kill, very important to kill because he's beating your Shadow Fiend quite handedly. This is actually a game where your cores were just like really struggling. But part of the way you can help that is if you're able to gank them. And like Shadow Fiend will provide the damage. If you guys provide the slows or like the stun in Ogre's case, you know, he can do it, especially against a Sniper who has no escape. And so like all this time, the lane being here, this is very safe for Axe. You know, put a ward down so you can spot the Tiny, and then Axe can be left alone. You're harassing, you're right-clicking this Lifestealer, but it just won't matter. This guy has 6 armor, and he has Feast. He has open wounds to like steal extra health if he needs to. The right-click on Lifestealer for this combo when you guys are behind is just not going to do a lot. It's more important to like let Axe get all this by himself. I also don't think you need Sunray, because he has Rage. If he rages, Sunray just doesn't do anything to him. And your mana pool is not that big. So I see a lot of people get 2 points in Icarus Dive, because the damage scales up a lot on the second point of Icarus Dive. Now Sunray can do a good amount of damage against like melee strength cores, but not Lifestealer because he can rage it. So against like Sven, Wraith King, Ursa, like these kind of melee cores who are going to stand in Sunray if they try to fight your offlaner, like then it's pretty good. But I think against Lifestealer, it's not so good. And if we look at the other heroes, Tiny's a strength hero, but these guys, they don't have a lot of health pool, so like Sunray's not going to do that much. Against him, it's kind of okay, but then they also have ways to like cancel your Sunray with like Avalanche or Toss, alt. You know, it's just like, to me, it just doesn't feel so good on Sunray. And I don't think like the heal is enough to like save Axe when this kind of stuff happens because they have so much burst, or Lifestealer just has immense physical damage. I don't think your heal is actually enough at level 4. So we're going to start to speed up here, because we're going to start talking about like the overall concepts of the game. Scroll my notes down a little bit while we're getting there. So I think Urn first is okay. I think the Spirit Vessel is for Necro, and I think that's good. It's not going to do much against him because he has Rage. Hey, we've seen this before. But yeah, I think Urn overall is okay. I also wouldn't mind Tranquils first this game because, I mean, all your spells use up your health, you know? It's just like a Phoenix item. You know that. You play Phoenix. And then you just buy like 1 Clarity or 2. So like Spectre being there, that's Spectre's fault. But at this point, someone needs to go top. So 10 minutes, we're switching to conceptually what needs to happen. Spectre is dead. 16 more seconds. TP on cooldown. She can't go top. She also doesn't really want to go top right now because, I don't know, it just doesn't feel great for her. She kind of needs to until you guys get this bottom tower, but she might just jungle. She doesn't really necessarily need to be at this tower. Shadow Fiend, he could go top. He's not going to, though, because top is pretty dangerous, which means right now, probably one of the supports need to do it. Now, this is because I know usually I say, like, oh, win your top lane and then rotate out. Yes. But because Spectre is dead and can't TP top, someone needs to go there. Because right now, there's just a lot of, like, farm going to waste. And because you need to think about your objective, which is we want to go late. Spectre will destroy Sniper. She ults on top of him every fight. He won't do anything. You guys just need to go late until Spectre is online. Lifestealer is an early carry. He actually scales decently into late game, to be honest. But, and he's like, of all the heroes, he's like okay against Spectre. But still, you want to go late because Spectre will kill Sniper every time. And then, like when you guys get really tanky, Necro also just doesn't do that much. And like Phoenix is a fantastic late game team fighter. Axe pierces BKB, which is pretty solid. He's like okay in the late game. But the big thing is that Spectre is a late game hero. So you always want to think about things then that can stall out the game. Yeah, if you could take an early lead, that'd be great, but we're kind of past that window already. So we need to think, what do I need to do to stall out the game? Losing this tower for free is not going to help me stall out the game. So one of the supports needs to come up here, get the gold, get the XP, protect this tower, even for like a minute or two until Spectre eventually comes back up here or something. But someone's got to come up here to protect this tower. One of you needs to. Probably in this game, I feel like it could be the Phoenix, because Phoenix farm priority is a little more important than Ogre, and it'll get you closer to like a Soul Vessel. In this game, I don't feel particularly strongly about either of you working with Axe because you guys are behind, and so I don't really care which of you goes top, so long as someone goes top. But I think at that time I said it. I think Ogre's TP might have been in cooldown or someone. But if someone's TP is on cooldown, then the other one has to go up top. But like someone needs to be here. Like this tower's dying for free. Look at it. So sad. Someone needs to be there to protect that tower. Even if it falls like at 12:30, 45 seconds you've added to your game, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's all we're playing for. We're looking for plays that like slowly extend the game. And I think, you know, Phoenix or Ogre could extend this way more because Necro and Coddle are not good at taking towers. It's the fact that this catapult was here hitting this the whole time and no one ever dealt with it because these creeps were just alive. But if you guys aggro these creeps, kill these creeps, bloodlust this tower, whatever, then the catapult dies, then this tower will stay healthy. They're not that good at taking towers early. Unless Sniper's there, but Sniper was bottom. You guys are on the back foot, so you can't really do the same kind of pressure plays like usual. Like usually I say pressure this bottom lane. But it's really hard this game because you guys are behind. And so the next best step then is to stall the game out by defending our towers. So we've lost one tower for free now. Which means they can now move to other parts of the map or start to restrict the space that Spectre can farm in. Either one of those, not the best for you. So see, like, you guys are trying to make plays happen here, and it's like, it was like sort of going okay, and then it gets turned. But do you guys need to make a play? Not quite. As long as you're not losing towers when you have a Spectre lineup, it's okay. This will change game by game. And I know I usually say you should push this tower. I get it. But in this case, because you guys are behind, you just need to like stall it out. Let Spectre farm, probably let SF farm, and just try to like make space. By the way, I think you guys should swap neutrals. You've got the Faded Brooch on Phoenix and the Trusty Shovel on Ogre. Ogre is the one that needs to run around a lot and has mana issues. Phoenix does not actually really have mana issues unless you level Sunray like you did. But if you don't, then you have enough mana to use Fire Spirits and Supernova. Perfectly fine. Supernova will refresh your mana. And you don't really need to run around with move speed because you have Dive. So, personally, I think swapping the items would make a little more sense to me. Kind of a minor thing, though. Now you guys lost bottom tower because you played a little too aggressively. I don't mind the play like you thought Lifestealer was alone. 3 of you go on him. But I don't know. At the same time, Lifestealer is probably the hardest person you could possibly try to kill this game. Because he has Rage and you guys are very heavily magic damage. So it's like very difficult to kill this guy. Top tower, how's that doing? Getting any damage? A little bit. Don't want that to happen for free. Keep that in mind. Keep an eye on it. If you want to go for this Meteor Hammer build, I don't know. I don't know if you need the urn then. Maybe it's okay. I don't play that much Phoenix, so I won't mention it. But I feel like I've seen Phoenixes rush it and ignore the other stuff to get it early. Which would help because your tower damage is pretty bad, to be honest. And then let's go back a bit. Because now we lost mid tower without really fighting it. Toad over. It was already quite low. And if we go back a bit, what am I doing by 10 seconds? Let's just chunk back. Part of this is because SF just like lost this lane so heavily. But you know, if someone was here to like constantly push it out, Sniper's not going to get it on its own. They're going to have to rotate several people here. So we like speed forward a bit. I'll cut it towards when we lose it. We're like, you know, no one's in this mid lane. You don't need everyone to like fight bottom, you know. This is when you guys like tried to force that fight and mid is just empty. What if you guys don't force the fight? Just chill back here and someone's in the mid lane pushing this in. If you guys push this into this mid tower, you're either going to get tower damage, which is good, or you're going to force one of them to rotate mid. And that's going to buy you time because they're not going to push this without like Sniper, and Sniper's not going to push this unless he has people with him because Sniper can still die even though he's ahead. He's just a fragile hero. And so anytime you force people to like show up to all their lanes, like split them up between their 3 lanes by keeping it pushed out as quickly as you can or as far out as you can, you're buying your team time, which is that you're buying Spectre time. And this is the fight there. Actually, I don't know why I came back to this perspective. I wanted to watch a mid tower. You guys lost this, and now they come mid, and no one is here to defend it in time. I think you got a TP. As soon as you see them pushing. Let's see. Yeah. So you ran back to heal right now. I know that they came mid, right? Because we see, if we look from this perspective, you ran home. We see Sniper TP mid. They just took this tower. They took that tower. What's their next objective? I know they're going to come mid. I don't want them to get mid for free. I think it's worth TPing here. Bloodless tower. Come like ignite the next creep wave. Tell people like we need to be in position. You can't get here after they get here. This tower's almost dead. You have to be here before they get here. So I think it's worth TPing ahead of time. And as soon as you see these people here, you got to shove out this lane on Phoenix. At least 2 of your spells, maybe even 3. Shove this lane out as fast as you can because they rotated out of here. They rotated mid, which means they can't defend bottom. Or at least not all of them can defend bottom. Sniper can't because Sniper TB'd. Other people could teleport. And again, that's fine. Sniper will not push on his own. He needs people near him. Otherwise, he is scared to come out. He has 2 people with him. But what if you shove this lane and they had to rotate down here? One of these supports, like Coddle, went down. Sniper may not feel comfortable being here. Especially if Ogre's already here. Another core is here. Spectre has ult. He'll be scared. But it's really important to shove this out because you guys need to get whatever tower damage you can because you're behind, and you also need to force them to rotate so that you buy time for your Spectre. I'll slow down a bit. It's going too fast there. I think that ward's okay because you just lost all your towers. This is where the game's going to feel really hard. You've lost all 3 towers, and you don't have any of your own. And in fact, not only do you not have any of your own, all the towers are almost full health. What does that mean? I mean, if we look at the map... Okay, before I like drag this around and make everyone dizzy, look at the minimap. That's where I'm looking right now. This is all very safe for them because they have all of their tier 1 towers. And this part is safe for you because you have your tier 2 towers. There's nothing to farm over here. Now, this area here and this area here is still relatively safe, but other parts of the farm are not so safe for you guys. That means the part that's contested is all on your half of the map, and it feels really bad because that's like where you guys are trying to farm. And you can't get over here because that's just not safe. But now, imagine if we still had top tower and we took this tower, you know? Now it's not so like straight cut where like right now it's cut this way and over here. It's actually, am I able to draw? What the heck? I sort of can. Okay. So right now it's like this and this. This part's safe for them. This part's safe for you. And this part is contested. And that just doesn't feel that great. We need to speed up so these lines disappear. Okay, slow down again. But now what if we took this tower and they took this tower and both... Our mid can be gone, okay? That's fine. That means this part is safe for them. And this part is safe for us. And we're contesting here. Now, even though this part is the same, we can move out further down here and it feels better. And they can't feel so comfortable just being like over here. This gives us more room to operate. But because we lost all our tier 1 towers and didn't get any of theirs, the next 15 minutes will feel really bad. Especially the next 10 minutes. And it'll feel like you guys can't do anything because the 3 cores are all contesting farm in the only place they can. And not only are your 3 cores contesting this farm, the enemy's cores are contesting this farm. And the enemy's going to be able to uncontestedly farm back here. And it's going to feel really tough. And that's why it's important for you guys to shove out lanes. I like what you're doing on Phoenix right now. Hiding, waiting to see if you get a chance to like push this out again. I think that's good. Stacking, also a good way to increase the farm on your like miserably decreased size of the map. But the name of the game right now is stalling, and anytime you see an opening to push a lane, you have to take it like right away. So that example is when they rotated mid, you have to shove bottom as fast as you can. Because you can't do it normally, right? You can't push bottom and force them there and then you like fight for it because you guys are way behind. You can't fight for it. You can only take what is free and force them to like waste time. Right now, I think you should stand near Axe. Because, well, to be fair, Axe shouldn't be that far out either. But Axe, can he die? Yes, because if they go on him, his blink is canceled. Phoenix has dive. So even if they go on Phoenix, Phoenix has a better chance of surviving. Phoenix is the one that can be left alone. You want to be positioning like up here so that you can help your Spectre and Axe. Or like more the Axe, like stand mid a bit, I think. And we're going to speed through this a bit because honestly, when I was watching this game the first time and then I realized you guys were like 10k behind at 17 minutes, I was like, this game's done. I was almost about to ask you guys for a different game. Just because I feel like in a normal game, you should lose. You should absolutely lose. Because you're so far behind, and these guys are early lineups, and they should just like methodically take every tower, get Roche, and end the game. But it's a pub game, so there are chances to recover, and so that's why I watched it to see what you guys could do. Turns out you did have a chance to win. Part of that is due to their mistakes for not ending the game right away, and at the same time, what you guys should have done in return is like create those, not give up these towers for free, and then also pressure that stuff. So it's like in two sections. First off, you shouldn't have been at this point, and defending those towers, like playing the lanes a little better, sure, but defending the towers for free, not giving them up for free, and also pushing lanes when they're free, making sure you do that would have prevented you from being in this situation where you have no towers and you're like this far behind. You'd be still behind, but you'd be like 7k behind, and you'd have one tower up here, which gives you like more room to farm, or like you'd have this tower or this tower. And as long as you have one of the tier 1s, that's probably where the enemies will go. When you have no tier 1s, it becomes very awkward because the enemies could be anywhere. But as long as you have a tier 1 alive, the enemies tend to like, we have to get the last tier 1, and they all like clump over there. And if you can keep holding that, you know the other areas are free. When that's gone, it's like, they could be anywhere. It's like really scary. And now we're in this second half of the game where the enemy makes mistakes, and we need to capitalize on that to come back into the game. The game which we technically should lose at this point. If they played correctly and we played correctly, they should win. But they're going to make mistakes, and we need to try to capitalize on that to have a chance at coming back. This Necro kill, that's pretty good. As soon as that happens, I think you should push. Like, anytime a kill happens, we look at the minimap, and we see, what do we see? Especially when Spectre haunts. 3 bottom, 1 here, Necro about to die. What does that mean? Why can't I draw now? I don't understand when I can and can't draw. It's probably because I'm not on free camera. This part of the map right now is free. We know that because we saw Spectre ult down here. We know it's going this way. We know they're pushing this way. Someone has to shove this lane right now, and you guys shove this lane right now. Anytime we have a moment to get map control, anything like that, farm stuff, we have to do it. And it's really important to tell your cores, like, go right now. Go right to mid. One of you, I don't care who it is. It could be Phoenix, who right now, like, you're farming this jungle camp, which is in a relatively safe spot for your team, but at the same time, you know they're all bottom, so it's kind of not safe right now. It's way more important to push out mid to buy your time team. Even if you die here, I don't even care. If you get this full creep wave, which is worth like twice as much as this hard camp, you get this full creep wave and push them here and force someone to rotate here, and you die, that's okay. You stalled out time, because by the time they push up further, that's an issue. But now if you're like farming this, and what if you die here? Well, the enemies are already up here, and you know what else is up here? The next set of objectives they want to be at right now. So it's really important to keep the waves pushed out anytime you see a chance. And we did see a chance because 4 were bottom. Now at this point, they've started to rotate over, so we've already like missed the window a little bit. But still, I think it's like important to take the risk top or mid, and then know that top is also quite safe for someone to shove in right now. Like this is good. It's hitting the tower. You know no one is rotating here, which means what? They have to be trying to do something. They're not defending their tower. It's either bad play or they're trying to do something bottom, and no one wants to go top right now. And if you see someone rotate in, then you know you can go mid or bottom. And that's why someone should have pushed this in and then stayed here, farmed this jungle. And when you see it come out here, you go, a little suspicious. I'm going to push it in again because I need as much tower damage as I can get right now. Now let's come to this fight here that we kind of missed a bit because we were talking about towers. So, Ogre also running down straight here. Ain't nothing for you to do here. You run this way. You push this lane. Look at this. Ignite this. Bloodlust this range creep. I don't care. Whatever, you know? Hit this stuff. By the way, this is why some people like Fire Blast. That's for kills. Ignite is more like when you can't get kills and you need to push out waves. Phoenix can push out waves, and you have Spectre, Necro, Axe who can farm. So, like, you didn't really need Ignite. And you kind of, Fire Blast is leveling fine. But at the same time, if you're losing really badly, sometimes it's better to get a bit more points in Ignite because that helps you push the wave. But overall, I'm not going to critique the build too much. I don't think it's really huge. We're going to switch to your perspective here. We have like 2 things going on, you know? Kind of hard to do. This whole fight, we don't want to take this fight. They're stronger than us. We don't want to be fighting at all. We just want to be pushing any free lanes we can, and we only fight next to the towers that give us a bunch of armor and regen. But out here, we don't have any of that. If they've pushed in here with multiple team members, it's theirs. We don't need to fight it. You know? Actually, there is something here we're going to talk about, if I recall. We know they're all bottom. What does that mean? It means someone should have been top. Probably Spectre. You guys tell Spectre to go if she had her ult. But she used it for the Necro kill. Someone should be top anyways. Spectre can TP back if she's needed. Someone needs to be top getting that tower. But then this is what I want to talk about. I don't care that he ran out this far. Actually, you can. Because he ran out this far, you can go on him. But as soon as he gets up here, we're done. We're not chasing anymore. Because we know their whole team is here. Like, they just killed Necrophos. Or not Necrophos. Shadow Fiend right here. Where could they possibly have gone? Mid tower, like, if we look at our lane, mid is pushed here, and they haven't done anything about it. Top is here, and they haven't done anything about it. The creep wave is right here. None of them are showing. They have to be in this area. Even if you kill this Coddle, it's not a huge deal. If 2 supports die, killing Coddle, the 4 cores, or 3 cores and Tiny remaining, they're going to take this tower. You're a big part of the team fight. You can't die for free, especially with Spectre ult down. You're like the only team fight left, really. You have to be alive. And this is just, like, it's a very not important kill, in my opinion. Now both of you are going to die because you were a bit out of position on that kill. And now they're going to get this tower for free. It's like another case of like, we didn't want to fight this. We just wanted to stall it out a bit. If we stand here, you know, bloodlust this ahead of time, stand back here, they are still going to get this, sure. But they might be a little scared and take 30 more seconds. We're just looking to extend the game as much as we can, even in these small increments. Now Tiny finally rotated, but, you know, you 2 are dead. You can't really do anything down here. Whereas if Spectre forces that rotation, you guys are alive. Spectre TP's here. It's now 4v5. Maybe we can do something. That's why it's important to, like, get people to push it out. And then when you see someone rotate, then you fight. If no one rotates, you just keep pushing. I think you should build a Glimmer Cape on Ogre, by the way. You build a 4-staff. But this game, I think a Glimmer for Necrophos would be really good. Kite this guy a little bit. If someone's low, you Glimmer them. Hopefully the ult, reduce damage, whatever. Downside is that your mana pool is awful as Ogre. But at this point, especially with the Philosopher's Stone, you're like actually kind of okay. Even if you didn't have a Philosopher's Stone, I don't know. I think the what's it called? The Glimmer Cape is kind of good and pretty important against Necrophos, especially to like save your Spectre. Spectre's like your saving grace this game. You need to keep her alive. And there's like the Faded Brooch that has mana too. And usually there is some tier 1 item that provides like any level of mana to you, or just good mana management if you don't have it, between a wand, clarities, mangoes, being ready, all of that. After you saw them, so let's go back in time again. Killed you bottom, team fought there. Then what happened? Keep an eye on the map. I don't think you're actually supposed to see those heroes, but you see one here, we see one mid, we see someone here. 3 heroes. Yeah, you can try to get this coddle, but at the same time, you should be telling who's green. Axe, run right down here right now. There's 3 heroes here. One being Necrophos. I can't remember who the 3rd hero was, but someone's got to be down here, like right now. By the way, this is like way too far to chase out, I think. Tiny should have a blink at this point, I believe. Yeah, Tiny's got blink. Oh, that was the other thing. I know we're skipping around, but when I was watching from your perspectives, I didn't see you guys clicking the enemy heroes too often. But you should do that. Make sure you check items as much as possible. But anyways, now you saw a lot of them here, which means this is their next play. I hate this. Their next play is in this area. You have to get someone on your team to push bottom. Probably Spectre, because she has Haunt. But I don't really care who it is. Someone's got to be down there. If your cores don't do it, then the supports have to do it. If people aren't doing their jobs and it's a critical job to be done, someone's got to do it. And that's you in this case. You being one of the support players. Now this is kind of okay. Getting a kill. Now you just try to get out as fast as possible. All this, don't care. We're wasting their time. They're not taking our tower. We just disengage. Someone sprints bottom right now. Spectre still has ult. It could be her. But like, you see this? There's free space on the map. And people's tendency is to like farm the safe jungle. But there's stuff that needs to be done, and it's not getting done. And as a support player, if you don't think your carries will tilt, you can tell them, hey, you need to push bottom. And if they don't want to do it, or they won't listen to you, or you feel they're going to tilt if you say anything, then you just go do it. It has to be done. To buy time for your team, to like try to get some gold by getting a tower, open up the map a little, personally, now I think it's a little scary. Now you see Tiny's here, it's like, I don't really want to make a play. I just wanted to like farm on a part of the map I knew was safe. I didn't actually want to like get into a fight down here. Force people to come down here, sure, but then immediately leave. And now we're starting to see people show up bottom. Like, someone needs to be shoving out top really quickly. This guy, this is safer to gank, Like, if you think about it, do we gank the Tiny who's here next to their tower? Or the Necrophos who's here next to our tower? This is way safer, And now we're going to go get this. In fact, this is a deja vu, isn't it? Didn't we kill this Necrophos here before? Doing like the exact same thing? I think so. And that's really good. Now let's back up a bit. Spectre Haunt, where do we see them? Spectre Haunt, now we do it. 3 mid, 1 bottom. That means if we kill this guy, we know we shove out top really hard. Or we know that they might come here, so we might send like 1 support here to like see if they rotate. If they do rotate, we just get out and we go bottom because we knew they rotated top, so like let's go bottom. Or if the support comes here, doesn't see anyone, then we push out top. Support plays in a dangerous position. Like if I was Ogre, I'd be standing here to see if they rotate right now. Or if the lane gets pushed out to like here, Ogre comes and stands like here, looking to die. This is when it's like okay for the support to die. It's because like 3 rotate top, Tiny leading the way, and we killed an Ogre 5. And then Spectre ran into the trees and TP'd out. That's good for you. Spectre gets out. Ogre dies. That is when it's okay for a support to die. Necrophos saying sorry, like he knows he shouldn't have been up that far dying. That was the kind of kill you guys wanted to get. Because they don't want to push without Necrophos. They don't want to fight 4v5. Anytime you get these solo kills, that's really good. But we don't want to like look for solo kills way up here unless you can actually do it, but you guys are, it's pretty risky for you guys, I feel like. But this is way safer to try to do. And it's really good that you guys did it. We see 2 mid. Someone's dead. Like, still, someone could have been... I feel like someone could have been pushing top. I spend a lot of my time just looking at the minimap in this kind of replay when we're, like, thinking about what we can do. So, like, I don't know if we're ever even watching anything relevant on this part. The main things I'm talking about, like, are all minimap related. By the way, now that you have Meteor Hammer, Tier 1s don't have backdoor. I kind of think it's okay for you to just, like, drop it on this. Possibly dive in and drop Meteor Hammer on the way. But if you use it on this, none of you guys really want to show and hit this tower, especially when you're not sure where the enemy team is. So, I don't know. Something to consider. Let me look at the notes real quick. I think you took Tome at 20 minutes. I'm not going to go back for it. But I believe you took the Tome. But Axe might actually need it because you're like on equal levels as Axe, you know? And so you might want to let Axe take it so he can catch up. And oh, actually there is something I want to go back for, especially if you want to play Phoenix. You guys respawn, come bottom. This is really important, actually. This is why we came back. Don't cast Ignite on this. This is extremely safe farm. It's right at your T3 and you know they're not here. And your team is behind. Your cores need as much as they possibly can get. So don't accidentally take any. You actually also don't need to cast this. You just ran out, so you could have a courier run with you. But Phoenix's Fire Spirits can actually check high ground. It's a very brief time. So if it's Phoenix alone, Phoenix has to use 2 Fire Spirits to de-ward something. But with the Ogre next to you, you stand within range to auto attack, and then you use Fire Spirits, drop a Fire Spirit on it, both of you attack. Or you Sunray and like fly across it. Phoenix has ways to check high ground, is the point. And so I think you could actually put the sentry like over here or over here or something. Which may have actually let you de-ward this one, which you can see on the minimap, but not in the game, of course. May have let you get this one. You know, it's a bit of a tight squeeze actually, but I think if you put the sentry here, I think it would check both of these, and you would get that if you're like thinking like I need to make use of the high ground vision that Phoenix provides, or just like bring the courier out, you know. But just being generally efficient with that when you're behind and you don't want to use that much money on sentries, but you need to make this area safe. We need to be like very cost efficient with our sentries here. And then what's the next thing I want to say? Let's see, gank at 2130. Let's go find out. Oh, this. I think you could have killed this guy because he was a bit out of position as the two of you. I think you dive on top of him, earn him. Unfortunately, your spirits, I think, are on cooldown. But Sunray just does not do a lot of damage to squishy heroes, I think. Well, actually, your Icarus dive is level 1, so I guess it would be... Sunray is a bit better here. But I kind of feel like... I don't know. Maybe Sunray is the build. It just feels really awkward. Yeah, you know what? Forget that. I changed my mind. I think maybe maxing Sunray is better, and using it there is the best thing you can do. Alright. Where is the next thing? Here. just got that kill, right? I don't mind you shoving this out because we want to get that. Although ideally a core would have done it. Then we move forward. Don't farm this. Spectre, without being able to see where everyone is, even though you just got a Necro kill, Spectre could still die to like 2 heroes, like a tiny Lifestealer gank, maybe even a Sniper's there. She can only push up to about here before Spectre feels scared on her own without being able to see more on the map. Which means she's then going to come into the jungle and farm it. And if you farm this camp, then there's nothing for her to farm. And she's not good at farming Ancient. She's very slow at it. So she wants to at least be able to farm hard camps, though. And she probably will still try to farm Ancients at this point of the game, actually. But still, we don't want to steal farm from her. And so, like, if I was Spectre, I'd probably push this, and then I'm scared, and I want to come jungle. But you're actually farming this hard camp, and she's not going to get this farm. And when you're this behind, like, the cores need as much as they possibly can get. And you already have the Meteor Hammer, and yeah, you need your Soul Vessel next, maybe. But actually, it's kind of late for the Soul Vessel. Like, this guy's already got Greaves. And because you guys are so far behind, the Soul Vessel no longer does that much. And so I actually think a Halberd is probably your next item to use on Lifestealer or Sniper. The window is kind of gone for the Spirit Vessel. But yeah, I mean, Spectre just manned up and just went for it, I guess. But I don't know. I think what I said still stands. Like, be a little careful about where you farm and consider, like, am I stealing from my core? That one might have been okay. If you guys were talking about, like, hey, Spectre, go push this, and then we'll go, like, smoke behind you, in that case, I think it's fine to farm that one. Because you guys had a plan to keep going. But if you guys didn't have a plan to keep going and Spectre might back up, I'd be scared. Five-man gank. I'm kind of wondering if you should have egged to solo kill this guy. Or attempt to. It's probably not worth it. Now, right now, I think you guys want to back up immediately. I think this attempt on Lifestealer is good. As soon as this fails, just get out. Right now. You know they just took your tower, and they don't seem to be hitting high ground. What does that mean? It means they're coming for you, right? Because Lifestealer's here, which means they're probably not doing Roshan. And you don't see them running through these wards. I mean, they probably TP'd or something. Or, like, you did just see orange up here. But still. You guys are behind, and you don't want to... You don't want to take any fight that isn't, like, extremely free. 5v1, that's free. You can go for that. You can attempt it. As soon as it doesn't work, it's time to get out. Because you know they're coming in. And even though they're behind... Or even though they're, like, 4 versus 5, they're so ahead that it doesn't matter. That is still terrifying for you. Now, I believe you guys. It's like, this is the right idea from Spectre. He's going to push out top. Bottom. This is, I think this is the correct positioning from you. You really can't do much. And if you die, that's a big issue. You just have to, like, stay way back. If I was them, I would have gone to get Roche. That is their next major objective. Now, are you guys out of the game? Even though I was saying, like, this game is really rough. Not necessarily. Remember when I said, like, oh, the next 10 minutes is when it's, like, really bad for you guys? We're approaching that point where it's like, maybe, like, we're still kind of not fully dead. We're getting to the point where being restricted on this part of the map still feels bad, but, like, we made it past some of the worst parts if we can survive the next little bit. The next little bit being that they want to get Aegis and then try to end the game. And if you guys survive that, then you're good, because by the time the next Aegis is up, that's like a ton of time for you guys to survive. Now I want to point out, how'd you guys win this team fight? This is your first chance to win the game. Because you win a team fight being 18k down. Doesn't seem possible, right? Oh, but it is. Let's look at Sniper's net worth, 15k. If you kill Sniper, they're 3k ahead and missing all of Sniper's damage. Now, obviously that comparison doesn't work perfectly. Sniper's been greedy. Got Mjolnir and Daedalus. He has 1,200 health. Makes me so mad. You can't do this kind of thing against a Spectre, but he did. And you know what we see? In this fight right here. This fight breaks out. Spectre ults. Oh, look at this sniper. Look how fast he died. As soon as he died, we subtract 15k. You guys are even. Kill a support. You're ahead now. This is how every fight needs to go, is killing sniper as quickly as you can. Who even cares about this guy? He is really ahead. Can you guys kill him? It'd be really close. The only way you kill him is like 5v1, like we saw that attempt down there. So when you kill everyone else, now he is scared. When his team is alive, he's not scared because his team will kill you if you focus him. And if you don't focus him, like, maybe he'll kill you, or maybe you kill everyone else and he decides, you know what, this isn't worth it. I'm getting out. Now, do you guys want mid? Kind of. I think it's okay. I think you guys need to do Roshan right now, though. Like, as soon as you get this, right now, you have 54 seconds till he's up. 57 for sniper, 38. You guys can read. I don't need to say that. What are your objectives? Lane, this is in an okay spot. It's pushing against us, but, you know, we have some time. This, not in a great spot. This, good spot, so we could get mid tower. But what did I just say their next little bit was? It's to get Aegis and then try to end the game with it. Or at least to secure like a Rax or two and then get the next Aegis and end there. Either way, their next step is Aegis. What if you take away Aegis? Then they're too scared to come up to the high ground. Or they need to win a big team fight outside of it against an Aegis, and then they will go high ground. Either way, it's really difficult. They don't want to fight when you have Aegis. It feels bad. They could, honestly. To be honest, they could fight you when they have Aegis. When you have Aegis. But they're not going to want to. Getting this Aegis buys you 5 minutes when you have Aegis and they don't want to fight you. And then, there's more to that. It doesn't respawn for 8 to 11 minutes. Up to 11 minutes, they will not have Aegis. As long as they don't have Aegis, they don't want to push to this high ground. You could buy your team 8 to 11 minutes worth of time, so long as you don't throw, by getting this right now. And the game is late enough where, although you guys aren't the best Roshan lineup, you can do it. This guy's level 20. This guy's got a minus armor aura. You've got Bloodlust. Axe. Tanks it a little bit. I don't know what he does. This can be done. And you guys would buy your team till about, 35 minutes plus. And you guys even want to fight right now, which shows that you're not that far. Or, like, you are far behind, but, like, it's still possible to win. This looks tempting to come bottom because, oh, Tiny's pushing top. You know, by the time we get there and push it back, they're all going to respawn. Let's go bottom, which is already pushing in our favor, and we'll take this bottom tier 1. But that's bad because this tier 1 is really far away from Roshan. Which means if you come down here and get this tower, they'll go do Roshan. And then they can continue with their plan. They lost one team fight, but it's like, whatever. We're still ahead. We got Aegis now. Now we can win. But if you got Aegis, honestly, you guys might win. Not necessarily you would win, but you extend your time and you improve your chances a lot. You can still throw because it's the pub game, but Aegis was the next big thing. And that's the core of this replay. It's just thinking about how important Aegis is here. This play right here is the biggest thing you guys could have done because that team fight was miraculous. Like, you shouldn't win team fights at this point. It should be really difficult. If they were properly positioned together and Sniper plays not with these greedy items, it should be fine. But there's no guarantee you're ever able to do that again. And so it's like really important to capitalize on this. But now you guys come bottom and they're going to get, we're just going to skip forward. They're going to get Roshan. Because you guys are way down here. They have nothing to be scared of. They're just in there. Even though SF's up here, like, you guys can't do anything up there alone. And you died up here. I think you were... I'm not fully sure what you're doing, to be honest. I think you were trying to, like, ward this area for preparation for Roche, maybe. But, like, you got the tower. But does it change that much for you? No. because it's really late. I know usually you want the towers, but at this point, the towers don't mean as much because you're so far behind and because it puts you in a bad position for Roshan. And now that they have Aegis, it's like, okay, we opened up this bottom part of the map a little bit. Can we do anything with it? No. I'm too scared to come out here because they have Aegis and they're pushing our front door. Whereas if they were pushing the front door here and we have 4 here and Spectre pushes this lane alone, she's going to get this tower. You know, it didn't take all 5 of you to come down here. She'll get it alone. And then she pushes further and then ults in or something. It accomplishes the same goal, but I don't know. It just didn't take all 5 of you to get this tower. And the most important thing was to get this Aegis. Now, they make a mistake. Aegis is on Lifestealer. This is a huge mistake, in my opinion. How did you guys win that last fight? You killed Sniper because he went this greedy build. Daedalus, Milner. He learned his lesson. He's now getting a BKB. If he had Aegis and you guys commit Spectre ult and Phoenix Egg to kill him, he respawns and you guys don't have Spectre ult and Phoenix Egg to kill him, how do you win that fight? You don't. They win that fight. They win the game. Sniper takes Aegis. He chips the tower away, and you guys don't want to commit on him because he has Aegis. Everyone just sits behind him. You guys wanted to ignore Lifestealer anyways. Who cares if he has the Aegis? We didn't want to fight him anyways. We wanted to kill Sniper and everyone else. And then, even with Aegis, he's not going to fight us. I'm laying this out ahead of time because, spoiler alert, you guys can still win team fights because the Aegis is not on Sniper. And we're going to see it in play now. Hey, look at that. Sniper died immediately because he has no defensive items. And a extremely far behind Axe solo killed Sniper. Now Axe is dead. But you know what? We just Spectre ult. We kill off these supports with the rest of our spells. We have the Phoenix Egg, the Fear. Hey, this guy's got Aegis, and he doesn't want to fight. You know why? Because his team is dead. So, good on you guys for killing him. You guys should push this out as far as you can. And you do. You're going to get this tower. I kind of feel like you guys could keep pushing a bit. Again, another terrifying TP right there. I personally think you guys could have kept going a little bit more. What the heck? All right, it's a little bugged. You placed a ward here. I don't think you should. I think this is like one of the first places they'll check. Now that you've pushed up this far, they know you might have warded up here. He's gonna check the high ground like almost for sure. So your ward's gonna die really quickly. And you don't want to be up here to fight it because you guys are still behind. You won 2 team fights somehow, but you're still really behind. You don't want to fight all the way out here unless you have to. So you don't want to defend this ward. So you want to place it in like a really bizarre location that's like unlikely to get spotted. Here, whatever. Something that's uncommon. Maybe even like on the side a bit. This could be acceptable. But on top of the hill, it's just not necessary because you guys aren't going to get up here again unless you wipe them. Like, you get a kill from back here, another team fight, and then you push all the way up. But you're not going to usually play around here, so you don't need this kind of high ground ward. And if it gets dewarded right away... Oh, there it is. Now it's up. If it gets dewarded right away, then it didn't really do much for you, and you don't have the gold. And look at that. There it is getting dewarded right now during this pause. And we never really got to play around here or anything. Whereas if you put it in a weird spot like here, or here, whatever, you get some survivable vision. It's not the best, but it's going to last a long time, and it'll let you know when they're farming. Which was, like, maybe that was your goal for putting a ward here, but this is just too common of a spot that they're going to come check for. And it's just not going to be ideal, in my opinion. No. Don't do this. So here, by the way, you finished Spirit Vessel. Again, I think you were sitting at a lot of gold right before you finished this. This is the scariest guy, right? If you halberd him, he doesn't do anything. Same with sniper, you know, dive to him and halberd. Halberd protects your egg when you use it on someone. And if you use it on one of these two, these are the guys who are breaking your egg. If you halberd one of them and slow the other guy, and then you ult, your egg's probably going to survive. Whereas the Spirit Vessel just doesn't do much against someone with Rage, someone with Greaves. He's working on a BKB, but Spirit Vessel doesn't do much to him anyway. Spirit Vessel doesn't do much to this guy, who also has a Glimmer. This guy, he's a support. It does a lot to him, but, like, who really cares? He's not the issue. This is when you guys need more detection, too, by the way. But you smoked. Why? How have we won all our fights so far? We won them on our half of the map when Spectre ulted, killed Sniper really quickly. Or, here we are, defending our high ground. Sniper was too far up. Axe could blink to him and kill him immediately. We got the bonus from our tower, which is now dead, you know, but we were on our half of the map. It was way safer. We killed the Sniper in a defensive team fight. Because the later we go, the better our chances are at winning. Which means you don't need to make things happen. Especially when all 5 are up. If someone was dead, like Sniper was dead, then you guys can make a smoke play potentially, because you want to keep snowballing and getting kills while you're like 5-4, and you keep looking for kills like that. But in this situation, 5-on-5, you don't want to fight. And especially you don't want Spectre to be there. Spectre needs to solo push something while the other 4 smoke. But in this case, you don't want that to happen. You guys just want to chill and farm and wait. This is game... This does end up losing the game. I was going to say it's game losing. It's not always game losing. But in this case, you just don't need to take the risk of smoking. You know, this fight's going to break out, but we're way up here, and these are not the terms we wanted. You know, Spectre's going to ult now. She's looking for Sniper, but your team is already being chased back, which means no one can help her with Sniper. Whereas all the other cases, what happened? Axe blinked, called the Sniper. Any other fight, we don't want that fight. And now this guy also has a BKB, which means he struggles to kill him alone. I mean, yeah, the fight's just, like, really rough for you guys. And now you're going to come play defensively, but now you don't have Spectre ult. Now how will she get on top of Sniper? You're going to have a really hard time doing that. And it's like, what can you guys do as supports? Nothing, really. You know, Axe is just dead. It's a 5v4. Now you're like forcing them to run back. You know, there's an egg going on. Everyone has to retreat. Because now we're in the correct spot. But we already took a fight in a bad spot. That shouldn't have happened because we were all smoked up. And we didn't actually want to do that. We didn't need to smoke at all. Just let the chorus farm. This is when, like, Ogre goes and stands in a very killable spot, right? He stands here to pop smoke and die. And it's like, okay, whatever. Or some person, like, pushes the wave out all the way out here. And they smoke and kill the, like, Phoenix or Ogre here. But you guys have buyback. So it's like, okay, whatever. They're all the way here. Now they have to spend all this time pushing all the way back up. I bought my team time. But instead, we took this weird fight on our half of the map when we were trying to be aggressive. And now they're going to be able to push really quickly. As opposed to, like, waiting for them to come here and being able to take a very good defensive fight. Because this is a favorable position for us. I can't believe that egg finished. Like, look how close this fight still was, despite it starting off on a bad foot. So if just a little bit had gone better for you, which is mainly like that fight previously not happening, then you could have been, like, you were really close to coming back to this. Winning those 2 major team fights was really big. And yeah. That's the game. So, what I want to emphasize on this is between the 2 of you as supports, you need to identify what needs to happen in the game. Whether that is being really active or just like stalling it out. This was a game where you stall it out. And you stall it out by identifying, okay, they're pushing here, we need to push this other tower. And between the two of you, you can figure it out. You can say like, oh, I'm the better farmer, I'll go do it. Or like, oh, I don't have TP, can you go do it? One of you gets it done. Oftentimes it should be the core who gets it done, but they won't. They won't always do it. And then that's when it's like you two. Or you two can tell the cores, you know, again, going back to like, are they going to tilt or not? And if we look at the scoreboard, like, pretty close. Like, you guys start to pull it back. And honestly, a 10k lead at the 35-minute mark, not as big of a deal, you know, compared to a 10k lead at the 17-minute mark. The later a game goes, the less a gold lead matters relatively. And like, you even took the advantage in XP for a bit, which is hilarious. Just the way the game works. But yeah, like, Spectre was getting up there, and you guys had a chance to do it. You just needed to keep stalling it out. Spectre eventually probably buys like Abyssal or something to kill Sniper. If Axe can get the call on Sniper repeatedly, just let them come to your high ground. And all of that would have been a lot easier too if you actually take Roshan after the first time you win the fight. You guys get Roshan, and then probably Spectre takes it, I guess. Yeah, Spectre is probably the... Where is that, 27 minutes? Spectre or SF, but Spectre is a better Aegis carrier, I think. And the point is not to try to win the game with Aegis or anything. You're actually just going to wait that entire 5 minutes with Aegis and let the game stall out. Because, like I said, this 10k lead does not matter as much the later the game goes on. So if it's 10k, but you guys have stalled it out to like 40 minutes, like, it's fine. It's way better than being 10k behind down here. And so that Aegis that you steal isn't for you to go break their high ground or to take fights. It's to deter them from taking fights, and you just wait it out. I think that's all I want to say. Actually, there's one more thing I want to say, but I think it'll be easier to talk in Discord on that. Whereas the two of you as a support duo have... And for anyone else who plays with a friend, the biggest advantage you have is that you can work together in a team game. Crazy. But it's really hard to work with random people. And so you guys can synergize your hero choices together and put yourself in a good position. Oftentimes what is missing from pub games is being active and like getting stuff done. And so picking heroes that can gank early or force pressure, stuff like that, things that can work together are really good. Phoenix and Ogre kind of match, but you guys really depend on your teammates. Or like, he needs to bloodlust a core, and Phoenix needs people to protect the egg. Ogre and Phoenix are not a support duo that get things done together. They're really good in terms of thinking about a whole team dynamic, but sometimes you just have cores that are not very good or don't want to play with you. And so I think it might benefit you guys to pick some supports that, you know, you still work with a team, but you're a little more effective together. You know, you're like a Skywrath plus Shadow Shaman. You don't have to play that, but like, they function very well together because Shadow Shaman provides the lockdown for Skywrath to get the kill, and then Shadow Shaman pushes the lane and provides the tower damage. It's like two supports that work very well together and can force objectives, and you don't need a core. But Ogre Phoenix, they both rely on their cores, which makes it a little hard for you guys to do stuff on your own. So if you need some ideas on that, I do want you to play heroes you like, and I know you like Phoenix. But if you want to think about that, we can talk about that in the Discord or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, play the heroes you like. I think that's more important than anything else. I don't want to force you into like a playstyle you're not comfortable with, but that is like piece of advice for other people, whoever else who wants to think about it. Plan heroes that can do stuff if you're partying up. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. I am done now.